All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 21st, 2024 Downtown Brantford Business Improvement Area Board of Management meeting. We'll start the meeting. Have you done the roll call, Annette?
I have. Thank you.
Okay, all right. And I need a motion to approve the agenda. Ashish, seconded by Carrie. Thank you. All in favor? Show of hands. Thank you. Okay. All right. And declarations of conflict of interest. No, seeing none. Okay. No delegations. So we'll pop right up to 5.1 and the minutes, that the following minutes be approved of October 17th, 2024 of the Board of Management. May I have a motion to approve that motion? Ashes, thank you. Seconded by, can we get a second from you, Ed? I think you attended the meeting. Yes, okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right. 5.2, the reports and committee meetings. Could I have a motion to receive the October, November Executive Director's Report and the October 10th, 2024 BIA Executive Committee minutes? Yeah, Ed, thank you. And seconded by Ashes, thank you. All in favor? Hands up. All right, thank you. Carried. All right. 6 items for consideration. 6.1 is the working group meeting updates. Annette, can you put us through this, please?
So the parking transit wayfinding working group meeting was canceled. The next meeting will be December 16th. Send me your agenda items if you have anything that pertains to parking, transit, or wayfinding. The beautification, decorations, marketing, activations working group meeting was held October 30th. The notes you just received. Oh, no, you didn't receive them, but they were part of the agenda package. And the next item is coming from the marketing, activations, beautification, decorations working group.
Okay.
There was only one motion coming forward.
Right, thank you. All right. Annette, can you read the motion for me, please? Thank you.
Yes. That the DBBIA Board of Management approve an expenditure of up to $3,000 to rent ELF letters for the Christmas holiday season and have a cutout created to augment it. The funds will be taken from the decoration account. And just as an example for the cutouts, I don't know if you can see that, but that's similar to what it would look like.
That's cute.
And plus Elf that was similar to Boo and Alec that we had in Harmony Square.
Right, right. Okay, could I have a motion to put this on the table and a seconder, please? Ashes and Carrie, thank you. All right, so any discussion about this? Questions? None. Okay, seeing none, I take the vote to approve. All in favor, put your hands up, please. Thank you. And carried, thank you. All right. And Annette, 6.3, bench removal on Market Street. Is that you?
Yes. So another bench was removed from the downtown. So just a little bit of history. Back in January 11th board meeting, there was a motion to remove some benches on Colburn and Dalhousie. That motion was approved. On August 7th, Barbara and I met with the CAO as we heard about another planter being removed on Dalhousie Street, which has since been removed. And now I received a complaint from a business owner about a bench being removed from Market Street. So I believe it was Brian Van Tilborg was also contacted about the removal of that bench. It turns out that the mayor's office had received several complaints. They also say that the university requested that the bench be removed. So I guess it was back in January, the BIA was consulted about bench removal, and now we're still seeing benches being removed with no consultation. I'm not sure what Brian, if you have anything to add to that.
Actually, that's a very thorough accounting. Um, I had been concerned about individuals that had been in the alcoves of the stores adjacent and close by the bench, and I had personally not seen issues with that bench. Not that there weren't. I kind of go there a fair amount, and I never personally experienced that. I actually saw the bench being used as a bench should be used. But that being said, there was a request. I believe that the biggest voice behind that was Laurier, and that it's created an environment that is affecting their students in traveling back and forth. So the bench was removed. I don't know what we might do as plans when we revamp the downtown and the types of benches and things we go on from there. But originally my thoughts were, I thought the bench had been mistakenly removed, right? That there was probably been a complaint elsewhere, and then they just said, let's say take this one along with the others. But that was not the case because I was hoping to get that bench back. Because again, I hadn't seen any infractions there, and the adjoining businesses did not want to see it removed. So that being said, I think we're gonna have to go over a bit of a review process, have your input, and how we deal with the issue of benches throughout the city, and because we are chasing a problem around town, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Open to any questions, by the way.
Questions, further comments? I have a comment. I'm concerned about the removal of benches because of the optics, or perhaps the wrong person is viewed to be sitting on the bench. That bench in particular was used by people who were using the business that is in front of, excuse me, to eat their food, or to wait for their food if they're picking up an order. There are a number of people in the downtown who are physically challenged. They need a place to sit. There are, again, parents with children who may need to sit for a minute. There are pregnant women who may need to sit, and we can't keep removing the benches. And so it's, our downtown now is becoming a hostile environment because there's nothing welcoming about the downtown. If you take everything away that offers a bit of comfort, and a place to sit. All downtowns have a place to sit. And if they're not being used in the view of some people appropriately, then you're right, Brian. We're chasing the problem around town every time we take out a bench. But if there are people in those alcoves, they're not sitting on the bench. And the problem is the people in the alcoves, perhaps. And I disagree very much with the removal of our benches. The one excuse me, was it Dalhousie at the corner near Clarence? I understand that. We went around that, and that apartment building was having tremendous issues, and if they felt that the lingering around the garden, excuse me, the planter, if that was causing a problem and offering people a place to sleep, let alone a place to sit. Okay, I get that one, but I'm very, very concerned about the disappearance in the middle of the night of our benches. And I think it needs to stop. And I would like our counselor perhaps to help us with that. And we'll take that to council before any more are removed, and have that discussion, because we've already had this discussion in a committee meeting, but I think it needs to go public. It's not appropriate. we don't have a welcoming downtown. Keep taking it away, taking everything away, the flowers, the planters, the benches. What do we have left? And we can't wait 6 years for the revitalization to happen. And so that's my 2 cents. Okay, any other
So,
comments?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead, Counselor.
um, I had stopped by Phoenix Apartments yesterday, in fact. I visited a number of my friends that reside in the building. Many are in wheelchairs there, and others are quite mobile but not high functioning. Others are just fine. But the overall consensus was that they felt better and safer. Now, I'd already heard from the property management that they were thrilled, and most of the problems completely disappeared just as quick as the bench. Um, but I was more concerned about what I'm hearing from the people inside. So that was a refreshing answer from them. There's nothing worse than feeling unsafe in the place you live, and you feel that way every day. With regards to the bench up by Lonnie's, um, I think that we need to have an engagement with Laurier. I believe that that they have probably some very serious concerns with regards to their clientele because they have to interact with students and what students are feeling, parents, and their concerns. Their concerns will be very real. So we have probably going to be a difference of opinions, which I believe the DBBIA has to be a part of and be a strong role in the discussions in order to come to a mutually agreeable solution. The I think that this exists within Laurier itself in how they want to tackle things, because I believe tonight there is actually Laurier's handling a meeting on how three mid-level cities handle homelessness and housing, which I intend to be going to tonight, because I bet you I'm going to hear a different a different thing than what had been requested from higher ups. Um, I don't know which way is the right way. I do know though that as as a group representing businesses downtown, and it's not for me to say, but one might be concerned about what Laurier is facing as well, just as we were concerned about the tenants in Phoenix Place and what they were facing. So it's how we address it as a whole. I think that it would have been better had um, we've been informed ahead of time. In fact, I would have liked to have been informed ahead of time that such a thing was coming down, but it did happen pretty much with a snap of the fingers.
Thank you. Annette?
I have 2 points. One, according to the motion that was passed in January, the benches that were removed from Colborne and Dalhousie were supposed to be moved to other areas of the downtown, example, bus stops. I don't know if that happened or not. It would be interesting to find out if they're downtown still. My other point is the flower bed benches that were removed on Dalhousie Street in front of Phoenix Place. It didn't solve any issues. They're across the road. So now they are in front of the Conestoga residence and on private property on Dalhousie and Clarence. So we're not solving any problems. We're not solving anything. We're, like you said, we're chasing it around. How many benches and flower beds are we going to lose because we're just chasing something?
Thank you. Sergeant Balone?
Sorry, I was part of the conversations when it came to the ones in front of Dalhousie Place. At the time that had surfaced, we were dealing with narcotics distribution coming from within Phoenix Place. Working with the property manager, because we tried to involve I guess, the tenants and the property manager in solving the problem. That bench in particular was a contributing factor because it made it very easy for people to walk up to one of the exterior windows, ground floor windows of Phoenix Place, get drugs, and then sit right back on that flower planter and dispose of their paraphernalia all around that particular bench, and then build up like mini encampments, hide underneath tarps, and make the entryway into the downtown very uninviting. Now, since that time, we have together managed to get that tenant evicted, and justifiably so. But that is only one of three other problems that I'm aware of within that building, and we are continuing to work on those problems. It just like you guys had said, now because of our action, there has been a reaction with the groups. One of those people that had been evicted now trying to set up on the planter across the street in front of the building owned by Conestoga College. But again, we have been moving them. So it went from that planter, and then it went into there's that white auto parts building that we moved them to next. And then that same encampment moved to right beside the Salvation Army. And I was kind of curious whether they would be okay with that small encampment staying at the side of their building on the parking lot. But surprisingly, they ended up moving again. That same encampment is now on Greenwich Street, where the old fire hall used to be before it was torn down. So yes, now what I can say about the people that occupy that particular encampment, they are not invested in getting involved with any city housing, or at least they had not with it up to this past week. They don't want to apply for any programs. They just are interested in taking handouts. So the one in front of Lonnie's, I wasn't involved in that decision. We address problems as they come up, and I really didn't have too much of a problem with them sitting there. I know the Laurier Special Constables deal with people sitting in the alcoves, like in front of the Odeon building, on a regular basis, as do I, with their consent, because as many of the businesses in the downtown have done, we have letters to enforce the Trespass to Property Act and act as agents as for some of the businesses that are downtown. So we remove people on a regular basis, especially if we see them engaging in simple things like pens and graffiti on that property, or drug-related behavior. So we will also continue to do that. And I don't want to take up too much of the stuff that's involved in my own report, but my 2 cents on the benches.
Thank you, John. Any other comment? Okay. All right, so we'll leave it, and perhaps we can meet with you, Councillor Van Tilburg, or Mandy, and have a further discussion on this, and perhaps involve Laurier as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. All right, we're going to move along. Sergeant Malone, you're up again.
Sorry, I'm getting text messages and everything else.
That's okay.
I'm just working from home today.
Mm.
Okay, so what have we been doing downtown? Okay, so maybe I'll just start on some of the optics. I actually am really excited about the way the city has taken in some of the housing issues in the downtown core by the opening of 40 Queen Street. I think it's better done than some of the other organizations that are in our core right now. This way, a lot of the tenants in some of those buildings can actually stay inside their apartments during the day, and they're not put out into the street. I think that we can see the effects of that, in particular with Rosewood House. For a time, they actually had a fire in one of their kitchens. They were shut down, and when Rosewood was not active, there wasn't the visible problems that would be right at the corner of Market Street and Nelson Street. It disappeared. However, now that they are reopened, that problem is right back onto that corner. So, like I said, to bring it full circle, I'm really happy with what's happening at 40 Queen Street. I think the city does it better, and because they have a vested interest on what happens on our city streets. Now, going on with 40 Queen Street, that building is not without its own challenges. However, proactively, the police service, we've entered into what we call these micro hubs. So each building now owned by the city has an officer or one of my special constables assigned to it. So with 40 Queen Street, I have Kyle Rayner. With the Beckett building, I have Alexandria Hyde. And so they are in constant communication with the property manager there, who then in turn can reach out to us, ask us about certain incidents that happen on the property, anything they might be able to do to change things, or if they have any concerns, reach out to us and we can provide them with a little bit of strategy and response. To take it one step further, my unit, the Downtown Special Constables, and my beat unit sworn officers, we've all been given access cards so that we can walk through those buildings on a regular basis as we please during our patrols, just to kind of make sure that nothing's happening in the hallways, or we can actually liaise with somebody or go and talk to some of the tenants if we have to. So there is a better partnership with the city-run housing as opposed to some of the privately run housing. I don't want to take up too much of your time. One ask that I have is that, say, for example, when it came to Laurier, they actually just finished having their Laurier campus tours that happened this past Saturday. And I actually had switched my own shift around so that way I could work that day and help with some of the perspectives of our downtown to make it more inviting to some of the students. So that is not exclusive to Laurier. If there are special events that you guys are running at your respective businesses and you want to reach out to us to let us know what's going on, it helps me kind of pivot and make sure my people are at the right place. So that way we can actually help you and make your business possibly or event more inviting. So just a simple email would suffice. So, and then what would happen with that information? We have also restarted with the city, with Laurier and Conestoga College. We all have our form of security or law enforcement. And so at these monthly meetings now, we discuss upcoming events, strategies, solutions, and our collective problems when it comes to the downtown. So perhaps by working together, we might be able to come up with some better solutions by working together. Let's see. Because I have not been at some of the most recent meetings, there are some smaller items like there was the Sunday meals in Victoria Park, and then the pastor that would come and serve those meals, they would leave big piles of garbage in Victoria Park. That has since been addressed. I've been watching, and since the conversation we had with that person, they're now actually putting their garbage where everybody else is putting their garbage, which is great. Let's see, our encampment challenges. This is something that generally starts this time of year, pretty much all over Brantford. I think we're actually doing a very good job at this point. There has been an uptick in some of the encampments around the river. Still, the large one underneath the bridge, the Lorne Bridge. But as it applies to the downtown, we're kind of on top of it. And I have a very good partnership with Dave Weidrich and his bylaw team. So we're addressing those as they come up. Let's see, I actually received some help from the city when it came to our YES program. If you guys are not familiar with that, it's a youth program that runs on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. where we actually gather a whole bunch of at-risk youth. We play in the gym for about the first hour just to do some bonding through sport. And then for the second hour, we put on presentations of services offered by the Brantford Police Service. And it's not just about the Brantford Police Service. It's about some of the challenges that the youth might actually encounter during the course of their lives. So we talk about drugs, making good decisions, human trafficking, and other topics. Healthy relationships is another one. So that has resumed. So the downside to that is that you might not see us as visibly from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays for the YES program while we're there. But as soon as they're done, my units then are back on the city streets. The same thing happens now on Thursdays with the Youth Fusion program at the YMCA. That one also runs from 4 till 6, so that's Thursdays. But that's for newcomer youth to Canada. A lot of them have poor perspectives on law enforcement and police coming from different countries, and we want to show them a little bit more of a positive Canadian experience as we bring them in. So again, the program is presentations during the second half, and we engage in sport with the same youth from 4 till 5. The last thing I just want to talk on is that I know we still have a lot of what I would consider abandoned or investment properties in the downtown core. This is the time of year that people will be breaking into them, trying to rip all the copper piping or wires out of the walls. We actually just had one of those. We responded to a couple nights ago at the Grace Anglican Church at the corner of Darling and George Street. We responded, we got the person in custody. Now, when these investment properties are not regularly visited, the danger is that when they actually start ripping pipes apart, the flooding, but the electrical wires being ripped out of the wall, that brings fires. And we can kind of see what happens to the bowling alley in Mohawk Plaza. We do not need any of that in the downtown core. That would only bring a lot more negativity. And so I would ask that if any of the businesses downtown see any unusual behavior around any of those buildings, to please reach out to us. It's not a problem for us to go and walk around the building, make sure all the windows and the doors are intact. It just a little bit of proactive enforcement on something like that will save us some reactive sorting of problems. And that's it.
Thank you so much, John. Are there any questions of John quickly? Or not? Go ahead, Councillor.
Yes. Can the tenants, residents of 40 Queen, are they able to be in touch with your special constable that goes in the building, or do they go through a different way? Basically, in the last couple of days, I'm dealing with a few assaults that happened at that building. And they contacted me to say, who do we contact?
Okay, very, very simply, if it's a matter of assault or violence, the application of force on another person, technically, yeah, they can always call police, and that will be handed down to my units. My units also have all their own separate work phones. I don't want to circumvent an actual call to the police service by reaching out to a specific officer, just because then they might not get prompt service. But having said that, they can call in response to the assault. But if there's continuing issues that we might be able to address on a regular basis, no problem. Then I can hook them up with any unit through me or any unit within my units to take care of that problem.
I will connect the individual with you because he's witnessed 2 assaults. One was an elderly person assaulted by 2 younger people at the entrance of 40 Queen. Another one happened inside the building to a young girl at 40 Queen. This is all happening in a very short period of time. So, I mean, our vetting in allowing bad apples into the building is not good, I guess. And I don't think that young families and people that are vulnerable should be subject to assaults in their new home, right?
I agree, and we can take care of that problem. It's not unusual for me to receive complaints. I actually receive complaints on a pretty regular basis. I respond immediately. I don't leave the people waiting.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we'll carry on. Thank you very much. City Council updates. Do you have any city updates for us, Councillor?
I do not.
Okay.
And not that there aren't any. I'm sorry, I don't have them for you.
That's quite all right. That's fine. Thank you. May, you're up.
Thanks, Barb. Nice to see everyone. I will go back just a few weeks. Small Business Week. I'm going to start with the BRC. We had a very successful week that was a week long in October. We had events throughout the city, actually, but the big BRC event was held right downtown at City Hall. It was a networking event, and it was successful. It was great to see so many small businesses all joined together, and we've really tried to amp up our in-person workshops and events because people like meeting together. And that was a partnership with the Brantford Chamber, the Paris Chamber, and Enterprise Brand. We have a few upcoming in-person workshops. We have one actually today, right at City Hall. We have a financial panel coming in December 5th. Sorry about my cat problem with working at home. And it's a financial, and we're going to introduce like just different business models for small businesses looking for financing. We've have done this one before. It's actually very successful. We're bringing not just the banks, but local funding opportunities as well. So that's December 5th, 5 to 7 at City Hall. We have the BRC is participating in a Foodpreneur Advantage program, and this program is really great for any businesses, and we've seen many of them who are introducing pre-packaged food products. We've put a few through our Starter Company Grant program. You can see the whole series listed on our business resource website. You go into events and the event calendar is there, but it talks about costing, ones on costing and marketing, labeling, all these things that are very important for people who are starting that type of business. So anything else like that, just check out our website. We try to keep a lot of offerings for our small business community. Film update, the film has slowed down at this point, but our film liaison, Kevin, has been trying to get the message across to small businesses about what to do and how to approach film productions when they move into town, and they're going to be filming right in front of your business, it's very important for small businesses especially to know. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. Tourism, there wasn't anything at this time, but I'm sure all of you have noticed the murals in the downtown. They look fabulous. And I know there's a lot not going right in the downtown, but there's a lot going right because things like that definitely change the ambiance in the town. It makes it in the downtown. It makes it feel better. It makes it feel more lived in. And I'm sure we're all working together to try and make that better all the time. Just an update, economic development. Our department actually submitted a proposal to host an EDCO regional event. This has never happened in the city of Brantford. Our submission was accepted, and it was selected. The event's next year, Thursday, September 11th. We have lots of time to plan, but it's going to be at the Sanderson Center right downtown. The theme we chose was downtown revitalization. So, Lindsay, I'll be after you on that, but we really like to include the BIA and downtown businesses when these people come to town. We're expecting like 70 or 80, but we're really looking at just putting Brantford on the map and the downtown and bringing people into it who have never been here before. So that's a bit about what we're doing. I will pass it back over to you, Barb.
Thank you very much, May. Very interesting. All right, so we'll move ahead to Jennifer Middleton.
Good morning, everybody. First, I need to do this. Okay, so the skate exchange has been launched. We're going to start December 4th and 11th from 3 till 6. That's right at the Harmony Square office. December 5th and 6th from 1 to 4, and each Wednesday. I'll send this all in an email. Anyways, there's a ton of opportunities. We have Councillor Sullivan and Samwell hosting a skate at the Civic Center on December 5th. So we're kind of doing an extra opportunity for people to collect skates prior to that so everybody can be included. New this year, every home game for the Bulldogs starting immediately will be an opportunity for people to drop off skates. We went a couple times last season. One was really good, but if we keep it consistent, I think it'll be better. So we're just going to have that in the Ringside Lounge so people can drop off. And then, of course, the parade and parade after party are next Saturday. So the downtown is full with 30,000 people, says Santa, and nobody's going to question Santa. I believe there's 30,000 people in our downtown. And then to the after party in Harmony Square, where we have our annual Christmas tree lighting. Everything is free, absolutely everything. And then I've been on this kick of making, not me personally, but having somebody else make outfits for Harmony Squirrel. So there's going to be an outfit reveal for Harmony Squirrel Parade. I don't know if anybody else finds this as entertaining as me, but I'm having a great time with it. So I'm going to keep it up. And if you have any suggestions for other events, feel free. Harmony Squirrel was Elvis this year, got nicknamed Squelvis. So if you didn't see that outfit, you want to check it out. He was fantastic. Then New Year's Eve in the Sanderson Center, as we've been doing starting last year, but this year I'm going to add in a DJ skate party in Harmony as well, because there were a ton of people outside enjoying the skating. So I want to add a little bit of ambience over there. And then it also gives a louder sound system for the countdown. So there'll be 7 to midnight in Harmony Square, and then 9 till midnight in the Sanderson Center. All free. That media release is coming out. If not end of this week, then early next week. Then new, there is a winter warm-up. It's called Brantford's Winter Warm-Up. It's going to be on the Saturday and Sunday of Family Day weekend. So Saturday, February 15th and Sunday, February 16th. The Saturday is going to be a smaller scale event with a DJ skate party and potentially a carousel ride. And then Sunday is going to be a bigger event and finishing the night with my favorite thing, fireworks. So stay tuned for that. We're just kind of working on that, and that will be an annual event that will be kind of taking over the Frosty Fest that will no longer be happening since Freedom House took on the Santa Claus Parade. That's going to be their annual event as opposed to Frosty Fest. And then just some extra little things. If you haven't noticed, the flag raisings in Harmony Square are happening weekly, sometimes multiple per week. So being able to see that traffic and the flagpoles being used as frequent as they are is really nice. And I'm also a part of something called Festivals and Events Ontario. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically we get together once a year. You can advertise your events. You can apply for awards, which is what we're doing this year. We're applying for 3 awards. One is for Sponsor of the Year, and we've chosen Millards to recognize them as they've been a sponsor since the beginning of Harmony Square and Canada Day, and they contribute a significant amount of money every year, as does the BIA, so don't worry, you're coming up. Volunteer program, we're nominating Canada Day for a significant impact for the volunteer program. And then we also have submitted one, it's called an Impact Award. And this year at Canada Day, if you weren't there, we did something called a reaffirmation ceremony. So usually we have the citizenship ceremony. However, we're not guaranteed that. It's not up to us, it's up to the province. So unfortunately, we weren't granted one this year. So we pivoted and did a reaffirmation ceremony, which really had a big impact on the community, and the entire crowd was a part of it. So we're going to nominate that one to see if it can get any traction. So that's kind of what we're up to.
Thanks, Jen. Like the hat. We really appreciate all the activity you bring downtown. Thank you. All right. Lindsay Webster, our Downtown Revitalization Ambassador.
Thanks, Barb. And nice to see everybody this morning. And lovely to see many of you at the AGM. Thanks so much again for the invitation. My update is going to be somewhat echoing what I already shared at the AGM last week, but for those folks who weren't able to make it, this will be of benefit to you, and it's also going to be reflected in the update that Annette would have distributed and circulated within the membership yesterday. So if you haven't opened that email up, it's going to capture essentially everything that I'm saying today and be a nice reference, I think, for many of you to have on hand. So the Downtown Revitalization Project is in its detailed design phase. We've recently reached our 50% submission for that design. We are still on track to have shovels in the ground in spring of 2025, and we are currently nailing down the contracts 1 and 2 for where that work is going to take place in the first couple of years. So, and there's a map that is attached to the report that Annette sent yesterday. So you can reference that, but just so that you're aware, contract 1 is going to include Brant Ave from Dalhousie to Colburn Street. So that small stretch between Colburn and Dalhousie. And it's also going to include ICOM Drive from Colburn to Clarence Street. This work essentially has to be done first because there's a deep trunk sewer which is underground under ICOM Drive and has to be done before any of the other infrastructure can be done in the core. So that contract will take place in the year 2025, spring to whatever weather permits. Contract 2A will include Bain Street, Wharf, and Echo Street, and that stretch of Colburn which attaches them. So that sort of loop down there. Contract 2B will include, we're looking at, sorry, I've lost, Market Street between Colburn and Dalhousie, and a small stretch of Colburn as well. So this will take place between 2026 and 2027. That's kind of the more imminent construction plans. We will be phasing out the core. Our hope and intention is to maintain access at all points. There will be closures, but where we can leave a lane open, that's our goal. We don't have updates necessarily on road closures at this point, but this is where you can anticipate the work to be happening first. We are looking to have a public information center early in 2025 as we hope to have 100% design completion achieved by end of January. We'd also like to host a business forum early in 2025, where we're going to invite all of the downtown and adjacent businesses to come together and share some best practices. So how to best weather these types of disruptions, how we can mitigate them, and how we can provide resources to you as the city. But essentially, that's where things are at. We are, I shared in the presentation some of the more exciting design elements that are being decided right now. So we are looking at planting some beautiful trees, using soil cells, so we would be moving away from the planters, but also having some beautiful hanging baskets from the light posts. We are looking at some pavement patterns, what that's going to look like. It's going to be really, really beautiful. It's already very beautiful, but we are kind of, ripping the streets up. So I want you to be rest assured that whatever goes in at the end is going to be very, very lovely too. So if anyone has questions at any point, please reach out. I'm happy to take meetings and appointments. I can come to you. If it's easier to do it off business hours, we can arrange that, no problem. We also have the Downtown Revitalization Office, which is open on the first floor of City Hall. So drop by and we can chat anytime. Yeah, that's my update.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lindsay. And we appreciated your presentation at the AGM as well. It was really thorough. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Cheryl from Brantford Public Library, welcome.
Thank you. It's really nice to meet all of you. So this is my first meeting, and I met a few of you at the AGM last week, which was fantastic. So I am the new manager of communications and community engagement, and I started this role at the beginning of September, but I'm a long time, I grew up in Brantford, so this is all very familiar, and it's nice to come back. I just thought I'd share a couple of key stats to give you just an idea of how busy the library has been. So the time frame for these statistics is start of 2024 up until the end of October. So we've actually had over 353,000 in-person visits. We've had over 5,000 new members, and that's digital and physical memberships. We've circulated almost, or actually we've probably surpassed it by now, 566,000 items, and that's physical and electronic. We're also in the process of roof renovations at the main branch. So for some of you, you might know this, our back entrance into the library is still unavailable right now. The roof renovation should be completed within probably the next week or so. So we'll be able to reopen that entrance. And just as an aside, if anybody needs any materials, if you're curious about resources, if you want us to attend some sort of fair that you're having and bring some of that material, I'm happy to help coordinate that. Any partnerships, just let me know. And yeah, it's good, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone.
Thank you, Cheryl. We're looking forward to working with you too. We'd like to strengthen our relationship with the library, and I'm sure we look forward to that.
Excellent.
Good. All right. So now we're down to 7.9 external committee updates, if any. Are there any updates from any committee members? Go ahead, Annette.
So my update's going to be on the Downtown Action Committee. On December 6th, I became aware of a downtown tour and event that took place. I found out about it via the chamber's social media. So did a little digging, and apparently back in August, the BIA was dropped off the email list. So since August, the BIA has not been invited to any DAC meetings or any information shared with the BIA. I think one of the biggest frustrations about that is a report went to council last week about the downtown and all the great things that have been happening, and the BIA wasn't consulted. So all the great things that we could have shared, the 27 new businesses that opened this year, all of those things were not included in this report. So they have since sent apologies and said that this won't happen again. The BIA will absolutely be included on the DAC committee, but I wanted to share that just in case anybody read the report and said, where's the BIA updates? You know, we had a lot of good things happen and it wasn't included in that report.
Thanks, Annette. Okay, we're with the Downtown Action Committee. It's just that the interesting point is that we are the ones that initiated that out of the task force, and how we got dropped off the list, I don't know, but they've been very gracious, and I know that that won't happen again. All right. Notices of motions. Yeah, I'm seeing none. And our next meeting is on December 19th, just before Christmas, and I hope everyone can attend. Any discussion for the good of the downtown? All right, seeing none, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Anyone, a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Seconder? And Ed. All right, all in favor? That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.